She out there? Hey, Larry.
Hear me now? Andrew?
Yep, I can hear you. How's it going?
I'm good to go then.
All right.
I like it when it goes together.
Good to see you. Hey, guys.
Case, I'm not sure Frank heard you.
Frank, are you there?
Yeah,
Frank, why don't we, you as vice chairman, can you start the meeting, call the meeting to order? And Mr. Ring will join us as soon as he can.
I can do that. Let's call the meeting to order. It's 5 minutes after 7. County Planning Board, start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for
which it stands for one nation,
under
under God,
indivisible,
liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Thank you. I don't have to report the emergency exits. I think we all know where they are. Next thing would be roll call.
Ms.
Debbie?
Hayner,
Here,
Mr. Almquist,
Yes.
Mr. Decker,
Here.
Mr. Moore,
Here.
Mr. Stoll,
Here.
Mr. Stavropoulos,
Here.
and Chairman Ring. Okay.
Okay. Did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes and need a motion to approve them if you agree?
I make a motion.
I'll second that.
Ms. Zahner,
Yes,
Mr. Almquist,
Yes.
Mr. Decker,
Yes.
who are we gonna put in as a fill-in for a member? Who'd you like to appoint?
I think the alternates are John Stoll and
John Moore and.
John Moore.
John Stoll.
Okay, the minutes have been approved.
Yep, I just need Mr. Stavropoulos and one of the members, either Mr. Moore or Mr. Stoll.
Yes. Andrew approves.
Okay, thank you all. Well, let's jump right in with old business. Usani Mobility. David?
I think we still need a John to approve the minutes.
Yes, one of them.
Frank, can you appoint John Stoll as our alternate, if that works for you?
Yeah, John Stoll, alternate, do you agree? John?
Yes, yep.
Okay, you'll fill in this evening. Okay, let's start with Usani Mobility. Is Dave ready?
Yeah, I'm here, Frank.
Okay, do you,
Sure. So this was discussed at a previous meeting. Basami Mobility operates a business selling, servicing, and leasing wheelchair accessible vans. They want site plan amendment to change the use in that existing pre-existing commercial property on Old Sawkill Road. It's very straightforward. The planning board has full authority to approve this. You've got a complete application. There has been some previous discussion associated with this and other uses on Old Sawkill Road related to traffic and speeding on the road. I believe that issue was referred to the town board, which has discussed it and may have talked directly to at least one neighbor. Otherwise, Mr. Chairman, it's a straightforward application that you're probably in a position to approve tonight, and I prepared a resolution as such.
okay. So we just have to move that to the town board then?
No, this one you have authority to approve.
I thought, I'm sorry. I misheard you then. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay,
I don't, if the board members have any questions or comments at this point.
anybody on the board with concerns?
I'm good. This is Andrew.
Larry, I'm good.
All good here.
Dave, do you have a motion?
Yeah, I'll read it quick. Basami Mobility site plan amendment for change of use. Whereas the applicant Basami Mobility seeks approval to amend site plan for change of use to operate a business selling, servicing, and renting wheelchair accessible vans. And whereas the materials submitted in support of the proposed action include completed application prepared by Daniel Busani, proposed site plan prepared by Pander Mountain Engineering, consisting of 3 sheets dated 1/11/21, signed owner consent form, signed escrow agreement, and completed short environmental assessment form, also dated 1/11/21. Whereas the Town of Ulster Planning Board retains authority to approve the site plan amendment in accordance with the town code. And whereas the proposed action is exempt from referral to the County Planning Board pursuant to their referral agreement with the Town of Ulster. And whereas the Town of Ulster Planning Board, upon review of the entire record, determines the proposed action is an unlisted action and makes a negative declaration under seeker. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town of Ulster Planning Board hereby grants conditional site plan amendment approval for the proposed action subject to the following. 1, compliance with applicable zoning and building laws, rules, and regulations. 2, compliance with all representations made by the applicant. 3, compliance with site plan, design plans, and all details as cited herein. 4, compliance with any comments from the Town of Ulster Water Superintendent. That's in there because it's in a water district. And 5, town's consulting planner and building inspector are hereby authorized to approve minor site plan changes of ministerial nature which may arise due to unforeseen circumstances in the project development. And 6, all fees, including consultant fees, shall be paid. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do I hear a motion? We need a motion for the deck and the approval of the motion just read.
I'll make that motion. This is Andrew.
I'll second it. Larry.
Do a roll call vote, please.
Ms. Hayner,
Yes.
Mr. Almquist,
Yes.
Mr. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Stoll,
Yes.
Mr. Stavropoulos.
Yes.
Okay, the motion is approved. Thank you. All right, on to Pioneer Solar. This is just primarily information, is it not?
Well, Mr. Chairman, it is positioned for referral to the town board to initiate seeker and refer to the county planning board. That's as much as you can do today.
Okay.
I believe our chairman also logged in.
Hi, Gabby. Yep. Sorry, I'm late, guys.
No problem.
Guys, can you hear me? This is Zach Schroing with Solar Generation. I'm here to answer any questions you have and whatnot for this project.
Thanks, Zach.
Yep, of course.
Zach and Steve Church, the consulting planner. Anything new since last month?
No, not at all. I mean, we've started the SWIP process. Obviously, we'll need that to, as part of the clearing. So we've had that underway. That will probably take anywhere from 30 to about probably 30 days to get resolved and whatnot. But as far as where we stand, that's our next big step. And then whatever else you guys would like from us. I saw the comments that Gabby sent over. And happy to address anything that you guys have questions on.
Yeah, it's Dave Church again. The one question is, does the access road pinch one other property?
So it does, but the Hakeem's, Paul and Steve, who own the parcel that we are going to develop solar on, also own the other parcel that the access road comes in on.
Okay.
So Paul, that's part of is that part of deed or the access for right of way for that property? Is that part of the deed on that adjoining property?
Yeah, yes, it is. The farmhouse does have and grant an access to the larger parcel. The farmhouse is at the bottom of the hill on about a 2-acre parcel. And then the other parcel has the rights to cross. But the water department also does. Kingston Water Department uses that road. And then there's a section at the top of the mountain where we cross over the water department road. And that's all documented. We updated those easements when they just redid their water main because we gave them additional room for clearing. So that's all updated and ready to go.
Yeah. So the next step, David, is with the town board, right?
Correct. The action you could do today is refer it to the town board to initiate seeker and to refer it to the county planning board, which will take essentially 30 days.
Yeah.
Because of the timing of their meetings.
All right. I'd like to make a motion that we move this on to the town board. If there's no more discussion on this.
Larry,
Hey, Larry.
I see, I have no comments.
Okay. Then I'll make the motion to move it on to the town board for seeker.
I'll second that motion. Larry,
Roll call vote, Gabby?
Ms. Hayner,
Yes,
Mr. Almquist,
Yes,
Mr. Decker,
yes.
Mr. Stavropoulos,
Yes.
Chairman Ring.
Yes. And similarly, I'd like to make a motion to move this on to county.
I'll second that motion. Larry,
Roll call vote?
Ms. Hayner,
yes,
Mr. Almquist,
yes,
Mr. Decker,
yes.
Mr. Stavropoulos,
Yes.
Chairman Ring.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Great.
Chairman Dave Church is second. The county's likely to ask about the stormwater plan, so they may need, since they're still preparing it, to avoid getting that comment back. I don't know if they're in a position to get it done by the end of the month.
That's a question for you, Zach.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think we are. What I can do is just touch base with our SWIP guys tomorrow morning and I can reach out to Gabby, just give them updated timeframe. That works.
Okay.
Yep.
Dave,
works.
does it make sense to even send it to county without that?
I don't know, Gabby, what's the experience? Would the county take the application minus that and get the stormwater plan some days later? Would that be all right?
I mean, they usually just reference it in their comments. I haven't seen it hold it up, but I usually do have it in hand. So they have till the 21st. I may be able to push it a couple days. So give or take a week or so, maybe a couple days after that.
I think the experience is the county wants to see it, but they don't typically do a substantive review of it.
Yeah. Is it
Exactly.
possible to get in this cycle, Zach?
I think so. Let me ping them in the morning. We've done a ton of SWIPs with them, throughout our different projects. So we have a great relationship and, they can definitely expedite when needed. So let me push them.
Because I'd like to get complete packages to county, so we're not piecemealing documents back and forth.
Totally. I totally understand that.
Okay,
problem is if you get a partial package to the county, they use their own judgment. And usually it's not the direction of what the paperwork will say.
Sure.
right.
Exactly.
No, it makes sense.
Okay. Okay, great. Any other questions for Zach? All right, on to new business. The next is the Johnson Route 28 Phase 2. Paul, this is yours as well.
Yes, it is. Thank you for putting me back to back this evening. I appreciate that.
No problem.
So I have the map up on my screen if you'd like me to share it and walk you through the submission.
Let me, David, what's you prepared this for tonight?
Correct. What you could do tonight is set the public hearing for next month.
Okay. Yeah, Paul, you want to just share your screen and give an overview, just so everyone on the board understands what we're doing. And it's really a cleanup of the Johnson Ford Nissan Campers Barn area.
Yes, this is actually the parcel that has the Nissan and the self-storage on it. Let me try to zoom in here. If I can figure that out. Oh, I'm sorry, my Zoom screen is covering it. All right, so the first phase that we did was over on this side, was the original parcel. This is Johnson Ford. This is the Central Hudson Building and then Camping World. We previously subdivided this into 3 parcels and cleaned up the lot lines and created a nice private road that is defined on the map, and we have a road maintenance agreement filed. That road maintenance agreement also comes up and connects to the backside of the Nissan property. So now the Johnson Route 28 LLC 2.5 weeks ago closed on the purchase of the ground under the Nissan and the self-storage building, which was on a long-term lease. The tax map or online system might not be updated yet, but the deed is recorded and the transaction has taken place 2 or 3 weeks ago. So the system's got to update on that. I saw that comment that it must still look like it's in the previous owner's name. So this was on a long-term land lease. Again, Johnson's bought the land under the land lease. So now we are fixing the lot lines so that it's easier to manage and we can bill the tenants for their share of the taxes more easily with separate tax bills. On here, you can see this is the body shop parcel right here. The private road will come through along here and access into the self-storage, as well as cross easement going out to 28 through the Nissan parcel. So we're creating actually 1 lot here was bought from the Van Cleef. They owned this parcel already, which was Johnson. So we're making 2 lots into 3 lots with this action. Pretty straightforward, I think.
And Paul, the right of way for the town water supply, is that touch this parcel or is it just only on the original parcel?
Okay, so the right of way for the temporary line you're talking about for between the 2 water districts?
Yeah, the one temporary line that could become a permanent.
Yeah, so that runs back along through here. That's actually on this parcel back here, Johnson Automotive Management.
Okay.
That comes through here in the back and through Camping World behind
Okay.
this storage.
So that's not part of this.
No, it's not. So you
Okay.
can see here, now that I got it zoomed, I'm sorry, the self-storage is here. This is the body shop that was built probably about 15 years ago. This is the management house for the self-storage. And then this is the 2 Nissan buildings here. This is all gravel parking that's used by Nissan. This is all their paved area.
Did it work?
I'm not trying to say.
So again, I will submit to Jason the updated road maintenance agreement that includes this section of roadway to be shared by Nissan, the body shop, and the self-storage, as well as the cross easements going back out to Route 28. And I think I addressed all the comments. So nothing on the site is changing. Again, we're just moving lot lines to match what the tenants are using. And cleaning up the relationship between the tenants with the road maintenance agreement.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Does anyone have a motion to move this to the public hearing to set the public hearing for next month?
Almquist, I'll make that motion.
I'll second. This is Andrew.
Gabby, can you call the roll?
Ms. Hayner,
Yes.
Mr. Almquist,
Yes,
Mr. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Stavropoulos,
Yes.
Chairman Ring.
Yes. All right. Paul, thank you.
No, thank you. Am I only required one public hearing or is it two?
No, this is a minor subdivision, I believe, so it requires only one.
Okay, great. And I saw no referral to the county planning board either.
It's Dave Church, correct. It's exempt as per the agreement with the county and the town.
Okay, that makes it pretty straightforward. Great, thank you very much. We'll see you next month.
Okay. The next is LHV Precast. Is there someone from LHV Precast here?
Yes, I have the entire group here tonight.
Hey, Paul.
Hi, Paul Jankovich, architect. I have Jim Willis. Bob Willis,
Mike Johnson.
and Mike Sassel.
Okay, and David, you've reviewed this as well. There's some comments that you've got on this to start the discussion.
Correct. I reviewed it. This one is a site plan that's so slightly large enough to require referral to the town board, who have the lead decision on this one. It also needs a referral to the county. I have discussed it with the county staffer, and because I know the applicant has some anxiousness with this one, because as they can better explain, this is something they've got to get going on because of an adjustment that went on with a contractor. So the county's agreed that they'll expedite review. However, we still have to deal with the fact that they don't meet again until early May, but they've agreed to get Gabby there. Any comments? And they reminded me prior to my involvement, however, but in your chairmanship, Jeffrey, that this applicant's been to the county at least 2 times before, and in both cases, the county had no comment.
Okay. Paul, do you want to just describe your project and the urgency and scope of what you want to do?
Okay, we had previous approval for 14,400 square feet. Okay, I believe that was in the 2018. And we have a building permit issued for that work, which was never took place. So I just am curious as to if we have the 14,000 approved, we're really seeking 7,200 in additional space based upon what was transpired 3 years ago. So don't we have approval on the 14,400? And we're just looking for approval on the 7,200? Am I wrong in that assumption? Or is this a project being revisited as a total project?
I'll defer maybe to Jason or Warren. It's Dave Church again, but you needed to commence work within 1 year.
Yep.
I know there's a second provision, or complete it, Warren, within 3.
Yeah, the original approval was for 2 parts. One was for the building and one was for stormwater on the property. They started the stormwater infrastructure within the 1 year, so they stopped the clock on the expiration for the original approval. But then they started the clock on completion in 3 years. Reason we're back is because the building got substantially larger, almost 50%.
Okay, Paul. So
Yes.
Can you talk about the original project and the expansion? Is the original building 14,000 with the expansion of additional 7?
That's correct. The approval that we had back in 2018 was 14,400. We're adding a batching plant on the south side of the proposed 14,000 square foot building. in which that is 7,200 square feet. That is the big change that we're asking for. We've increased to reflect it added 7,200. We've increased the parking. We looked at building height, the setbacks, the traffic. All those issues are not really going to be affected because this is basically a part of the facility that is just going to batch concrete, mixed concrete to serve the warehouse. It's just another operation that will occur. It will not increase our basic traffic, or the original 14,000 will employ the added personnel, and the production will take place in that 14,000. So this is basically a complement to that 14,000, service space for that 14,000, so to speak, almost like a mechanical room that allows that 14,000 to operate. So that's what we're really looking for is an approval on the batching plan.
So that Warren requires an updated site plan is what you're saying, right?
That's correct, yes.
Yep.
Okay, and we looked at all the elements of the site as far as it's 7,200, and we took this as, as production space, even though it is not per se production space. We increased the parking. We reviewed the site runoff. We looked at, we're basically standalone. We have our own septic. We have our own well here at the site. There's no impact to any of the community services. Jim can talk about as far as the increased production, what's it mean on traffic and so forth. Very little impact. This is really set up for convenience of making large castings, which the current factory is not, or it has limited capabilities of producing these very large castings that LHV has a number of contracts to perform this work. A lot of it is for the DOT.
Yep.
You want to jump in?
Yeah. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for taking the time. Our existing plant is 14,400 square feet. 3 to 4 years ago, we started visiting because we knew we had outgrown the existing plant. Due to the new nature of the, there I am. Due to the nature of the projects we are now producing and the specifications required, it required more of a controlled atmosphere. So that's when we got a permit issued, I believe it was January of 19. And that was for 14,400 more square feet of production. We were going to transport concrete from our existing mixer over to the building. It finally got down to the point where we had to pull the trigger, and we realized that was inefficient. We should just put a new mixer pan in there and service that building with its own concrete, make it self-sufficient. What it's going to do is it's going to enhance excuse me, anybody that we currently have producing or working outdoors seasonally will now be under a roof. So we're going to control some of the noise in the neighborhood. We will control all the noise in the neighborhood.
Control mean you'll reduce it because it'll be inside rather than outside?
Correct. There's about 6 months of the year that we have crews working outside because we just can't do it all in the building. So this now will be all enclosed. There won't be any more noise. Not that we've really had any complaints from the surrounding neighbors, but we'll keep everything under 2 roofs now. This new building is designed to do the large and extra large projects. Again, we were exposed to a lot of, excuse me, New York State DOT, Connecticut, New Jersey, Massachusetts, along with New York City. We have a lot of third-party inspectors, engineers on site, contractors on site. And we just have to be better prepared. We can't continue to take on these larger scale projects.
Yep.
And produce in a timely fashion.
So on the drawing here, it says proposed building addition 3,600. Is this a back level drawing then?
Yeah, that was, yes, we had gone approval for that building, and that building has been completed. And Jim is, that is up and running at this time.
Okay, so where is the additional 70, was it 7,200?
Yes, if you can let me have the,
Yep.
okay. So, okay, these. Let me pull my drawing up. Give me a second here.
Well, while Paul's pulling that up, the location that the 7,200 additional square feet is being proposed is an existing 4,800 square foot wooden structure. That has been demoed and disposed of. And it's basically what we're doing is squaring up the 14,000 and making the whole thing new. So, in a sense, we have removed almost 5,000 square feet of old building, and we're replacing it with the 7,200 that we need.
So basically that building is where the batch plant.
Correct. Right. When we added the badge plant, the 7,200, that old building was in the middle of it, so we had to take it down. It had served its purpose.
Okay, I have the cursor right now on the proposed facility. The over to the right is the write-up on the square footage.
Can you share your screen? I don't think I'm seeing it.
Tried to have DRB do it for me today, but they asked me for the input names. Could you give me them input names as well?
Paul, you were describing something on a site plan?
Yes, I was.
Can you share your screen that has that site plan so we can see it?
Yeah, I'm trying to do that right now. I just kind of lost my screen right here.
And while we're doing it, Warren, the amended site plan for the building, you're comfortable with what has been submitted for the stormwater runoff and the additional site plan elements?
Yeah, the calculations. I was going to ask, I had forgotten about the 4,800 building was there. So if I take the 4,800 out of the 7,200 additional, then the roof square footages line up going from 49 to 52. And if I'm not mistaken, you're adding additional rainwater retention tanks?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes. And
I
what
thought I saw it on the plan, so that makes sense. You need water. You got this huge roof surface. Might as well collect it.
There you go. There you found it.
Okay, so where my cursor is right now,
That's the 14.
this is a 14,000 square feet. The 7,000 is this linear strip right here.
Yep.
Along the southern border of the property. The description of the work is right over here on the right-hand side. I don't know why this graphically did not show up heavy, but this was the 3,600 that was approved, and the build out has been completed. And what we're asking for, we have a small sort of driveway between the existing batching plant and the new batching plant or the new production plant. And then we have the manufacturing or the casting plant adjacent to an existing steel fabrication shop. So we are basically connecting the facilities together in order to assist in production and improve production on the site.
Yep.
So what we're doing right now is Jim had a lot of work taking place out here in this open area. Now we're going to enclose that, and this work will all take place indoors. And it's helped Jim out, or LHV, because a lot of times they'd have to clear snow, ice off the forms and so forth, and prep the areas. in order to start work the next day.
Got it. So the summary, Warren, is this is a site plan for the new building, which is an extension to an existing building that includes stormwater runoff recapture. You're comfortable with the plan as submitted? Is that all accurate?
Yeah, it is. Well, it's in addition to a building that was approved. The building isn't there, but it's basically a 7,200 foot addition to the 1,400 building that was approved 3 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Chairman, if I may.
Yes, absolutely, David.
Paul, it might be beneficial if we position this for referral to the town board who meet in 2 days.
Yes.
If you could perhaps highlight or shade the elements of this site plan, because it's, I think, confusing to the board and to me. The presumption is what's highlighted is what you're seeking approval for, but it's not.
I'll drop something off tomorrow at the office at Gabby, and I'll update the PDFs also.
Perfect.
So the building, the building you're seeking is to the, what is that? The southeast there, right? The rectangle.
Yes, where my cursor is right now, if you can see it.
On the one shaded.
And it's just an expansion of an already approved space, an approved building. It's to make the building approved building larger, to get approval to make the approved building larger, essentially.
Right, okay. And, so if you could just clean up that site plan for Chairman, if you're comfortable with referral to the town board. We do live with the, because of meeting schedules, again, the obligation to refer it to the county. They confess they've seen site plans for this facility before and had no comment, but they still request that it be referred.
So I would want to make sure the board is comfortable. So from the board members, are there any other questions or concerns on this application?
No, I think we're.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a good story, and I think Dave's comment was to shade for the town board to shade the new proposal. That would be helpful to the board members for their review. But as far as anything else, I'm good with what was presented.
I have a photograph up right now of the site, which shows the limits of the production area and the batching plant. It shows where we're tied into the end of the steel fab area. And you can see how the area is currently used. The equipment that's stored outside, the formwork that's stored outside. A lot of this now will go indoors. These are the hoppers, conveyors, the batching area itself, tanks for the various
Cement
products that are added to the product.
And
So this linear portion of the proposal is all the concrete batching production area. And this is our forming area where actually we'll be dumping.
I'm sorry, the larger area where Paul's cursor is the 14,000 square foot production floor that has been approved prior. The batch plant area is the 7,000 square foot that we're adding and asking for tonight. You can see that there's an existing wooden structure kind of in there where the mixer and the silos are. Again, this whole batch plant is enclosed. Everything is indoors, nothing protruding through the roof. Excuse me. And that wooden structure has now been taken down. That was approximately 4,800 square feet.
Yep.
So that's been removed, and we just wanted to square it up. We realized we needed to put an additional batch plant in service this new building. The current one that we've had for 35 years has served us well, but I think we'd wear out pretty quick with the additional increase in concrete, so. It's just smarter to bite the bullet, spend the money and service it with its own plant.
Yep.
Is there clarity now on the 7,000 square foot location?
I'm clear. How about the rest of the board? Any discussion or concerns?
I think for the county's sake, making sure all the shaded areas are going to be what the new stuff is and the old things are not shaded will help a lot.
Site plan has to be updated where it's not showing proposed, it's showing the actual, what you're going for.
Right.
A written narrative might be helpful for the town board also, so they can study it.
And I hope the narrative goes to the county as well.
Yes. Right.
Okay, does the board, is there a motion to send this on to the town board?
I'll make the motion. It goes to town board and the county.
I'll second that motion. Gabby, can you call the roll?
Ms. Hayner,
Yes.
Mr. Almquist,
Yes.
Mr. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Stavropoulos,
Yes.
Chairman Ring.
Yes. All right, good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can you stop sharing your screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, we have a lot line adjustment for Biker and Ryan on Park Road.
Hey, guys, can everybody hear me? Mike Viteri here.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good, how you doing? So
Good.
tonight
We
I have a
can
pretty,
always hear you, Mike.
thank you. I try to be ready for you guys. Anyway, so tonight I have a pretty cut and dry one. I am doing a lot line revision between a 2006 subdivision that was done by my father for Richard Ryan. I am looking to exchange. I am looking to exchange 0.072 acres between lot 1A and lot 1B on filed map 06-1551. The exchange will benefit the lands of Biker from lands of Ryan. Lands of Ryan intends to convey 0.02 acres from lands of Ryan to lands of Biker. This is a family transaction, as both clients in this transaction are family members. It intends to clear a shed encroachment from lands of Biker onto lands of Ryan, and a small portion of the maintained lawn in the rear of lands of Biker onto lands of Ryan. Everything we are proposing here is within the zoning. There is no variances required. It is very straightforward, and that is the extent of our revision.
All right, Mike, I'm sharing the screen. It's this shaded area here and these two triangle pieces.
Correct. It's the two triangles that you're seeing there, which total 0.02 acre. The one that you are seeing that travels north-south is the portion that is going to clear the shed encroachment. And the portion that travels east-west is the portion that is going to clear the maintained lawn section behind the garage. Again, this is between brother and sister, and they're basically just looking to clear up occupation issues. Nothing major here. It's just basically in order to comply with zoning.
Zoning and setbacks and so on, right?
Correct.
Yep. So lot 1B is the beneficiary of the lot line
Correct,
adjustment.
correct.
Okay.
Lot one will receive 0.02 acre, and lot 1A will subtract 0.02 acre from their total acreage, making the new lot 1B, which is the beneficiary, 1.622 acre, and lot 1A new area, 3.826 acre from an
Yep.
original area of 3.898 acre.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Mike,
Yes,
I'm looking at the map. It's saying on the lands of lot 1A, area to be converted. What I'm reading is 0.072.
yes.
Okay, a couple times you said 0.02.
I'm sorry, it's 0.072 from 1A to 2B.
Okay, it's late, I know.
It's a very small portion. It's a sliver, and the total intention here of the revision between brother and sister is to, one, clear brother's shed encroachment, sister's shed encroachment onto brother's lot, and sister's maintained lawn onto brother's lot.
You want to say
I have no problem.
Larios's Facebook page has been hacked, so they get a message from him, don't accept it.
Okay. Who told you that? Andrew did?
Yeah.
Hey, Gabby, can you mute Chris for me? And David, do you have a resolution on this one?
Yes, I do.
Can you read the resolution, please?
Sure. Whereas the applicants Joe Bikert and Richard Ryan are seeking a lot line adjustment in accordance with the section 161, 9, and 10 of the town code, whereas the applicants propose to adjust the shared boundary to address encroachment of a frame shed and related lot line cleanup issues. And whereas the proposed lots comply with the minimum lot size and dimensional requirements of the R10 zoning district, and whereas the code is classified as a lot line adjustment, which is subject to approval of the town of Ulster Planning Board only. Whereas the applicants supplied the complete application. I've listed the materials in support of the application. Whereas the referral to the county planning board was not required pursuant to the land use referral guide, since the proposed action of less than 5 lots, not situated in 100-year floodplain. Whereas the planning board considered the application of materials submitted in support of the action along with comments from consultants. And whereas consistent with chapter 161 -9, the proposed action is a lot line adjustment and no public hearing is required. And whereas it's classified as a type 2 action under seeker, and no further action is required under seeker. Now therefore be resolved, the planning board is determined to have complied fully with the procedural requirements of seeker. Be it further resolved, the town of Ulster Planning Board hereby grants lot line adjustment approval as described above, to the conditions, subject to the conditions, limitations, and restrictions set forth below. Plat shall be filed with the office of the county clerk after signed by the chairman of the planning board. No changes, erasures, modifications, etc. shall be made. 20 plat after approval by the planning board and endorsed in writing on the plat. Final plat must be filed with the office of the county clerk within 62 days of approval by the planning board. All fees, including consultant fees, shall be paid. That's it, Chairman.
Do we have a motion on the table then
I'll make that motion.
to approve?
Humquist here, I'll second it.
Gabby, can you call the roll, please?
Daner,
Yes.
Mr. Almquist,
Yes.
Mr. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Stavropoulos,
Yes.
Chairman Ring.
Yes. All right. Thanks,
Thank
Mike.
you. Thank you, thank you. Everybody have a good night.
You too.
Take care, bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Five Below. Do we have a representative from Five Below here?
Yes, Matthew Oates with Benderson Development.
Matthew, welcome. How are you?
I am good. How are you, Chairman?
Good, good. So you're moving, Five Below's moving, and you're gonna update the face of the building.
Correct. Yes, let me share my screen. It is the former Pier 1 space. So just going to modify the EFS scoring on the existing building, proposing the new Five Below branding with their signage, their blue background, and then awnings. And then also Spectrum is taking the remaining space that is over here. So the Spectrum sign will be added, and then a new awning for Spectrum as well. And then just the storefront glass is being modified to slide the door location over, and it just bookends the space with the two piers. So it removes this one pier that will kind of sit in just the middle of the Five Below space and kind of throw off the balance of the architecture.
Just an FYI, Spectrum is already in that space.
Yep,
I
it's just
was going to
for
say,
their-
I
for their
thought that
awning.
they had moved from Schwank Drive there recently, so.
Yes.
Warren, do we have a zoning variance required for the size of the sign on the facade?
So the lettering of the sign meets the sign law requirement.
Okay.
What's before you is the background, the color of the background, and the color of the awnings. Basically, you're looking at the facade. The lettering of the sign falls, they modified it to fall within the sign code for this district.
Okay. Any questions from the board? David, I think you prepared a resolution on this one.
Correct. This one's very straightforward as well.
If you could give us the summary of the resolution, that would be great.
The summary is the resolution describes the project, the materials presented. It notes that it's compliance with the code. It's exempt from referral to the county planning board. It's a type 2 action under seeker, so no further action is required under seeker. And it has the standard 4 conditions associated with a resolution to approve: compliance with all laws, built rules, regs, compliance with all representations made by the applicant, compliance with the materials provided, and the town's consulting planning building inspector hereby authorized to make minor changes, and fees must be completely filed.
Is there a motion from the board to approve?
I'm first here. I'll make the motion.
Andrew,
I'll second it.
Gabby, can you please call the roll?
Ms. Zehner,
Yes.
Mr. Almquist,
Yes.
Mr. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Stavropoulos,
yes.
Chairman Ring.
Yes. All
Thank
right,
you very
Matthew,
much.
thank you.
Have a wonderful
Good
evening,
luck.
everybody.
The next is Uncle B's, the Crossing Apartments. I think this was a discussion on the site plan amendment, if I'm not mistaken, David.
Correct. They do have a complete application in just in time, but it got referred to the highway, water, and sewer superintendents, as well as the town engineer. We're still waiting for comments, and I needed more time to take that in and get you all comments. So
Yep.
next,
This was before the planning board workshop 2 months ago, or two meetings ago. I think this is the first it's been before the entire board. So is there a representative for Uncle B's?
and just noting procedurally, this will require a referral to the town board for seeker and their referral to the county when ready.
Yes, I'm Rich Tompkins, Maury Architects. I also have Mark Panessa is here as well. I think he might still be muted, but I can give you kind of an overview of what we're proposing.
That'd be great. Do you have a site plan that you can pull up?
Yes, I do. Let's see. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. So here on the right side of the property is the existing Uncle B's car wash and lube, the laundromat just behind that to the left. And then this is the access drive where my cursor is for the laundromat. And the apartments will share that street access off of Old Neighborhood Road. So this was a previously approved as phase 2. We originally had about a 7,500 square foot building. We have since kind of redesigned this a little to 2 buildings. I can zoom in here a little bit. So we're looking at a 5,300 square foot building. This would be 3 stories with 18 apartments. And then we have a 3-story, 1,876 square foot building, which would house 6 apartments. So we'd have a total of 24. And then the associated parking, we have some mailboxes here near the entrance, a maintenance shed towards the rear, some dumpster enclosures here, again, behind the laundromat. So again, this was always as a phase 2. So now we're looking to develop that. We do have some elevations of the buildings, some planting, obviously. We do have a sign that we're proposing on Old Neighborhood Road. It would be a one-sided sign for the apartment complex. And then we do have these elevations here. So this would be the front elevation of the 5,000 square foot building. There would be 3 separate entrances, which would be the entrance for 6 apartments. And we do have the 2 or the 6 unit building, again, is 3 stories with 1 entrance. We do have a small appendage to the side of the building. That's for the 6 unit building, as well as the 18 unit building. That's where the water, electric, utilities would be coming into the building, sprinkler, main, all of those sorts of things.
And these are 1-bedroom apartments with a small office?
These would be 1-bedroom apartments, yes. With a small
office?
Correct.
Okay.
The way that we've laid out the interior is the small office is actually off of the master bedroom. So it's not a separate room off of a hallway. So it's not intended to be a second bedroom in any means. It's made to be the office for that apartment.
Yeah.
Is that dumpster location for all of the apartments?
Yes.
Rather inconvenient, isn't it?
Well, unfortunately, with the apartments, we want to try to keep it as far away as possible. In the summer, if you're opening windows, things like that, it's a little inconvenient, obviously, to take your garbage, but we felt that it would be more inconvenient to have the odors of the dumpster closer to the apartments. So we're trying to keep that closer to the commercial end of the property.
Okay.
So Warren, I know in the workshop, we discussed the parking. It was like 1.5 spaces per apartment, if I recall, right?
Yes, their initial parking count, I've got it pulled up. They're actually proposing 2 spaces per dwelling unit. So it managed to squeeze in more than we actually required.
Okay.
Which is always a good thing.
Yeah. And so we are waiting on water and sewer comments from Vinny, right? And from Frank at the town highway.
Yeah, Frank from highway, Vinny from sewer, and John from water.
Yep.
Where do you have snow storage?
So snow storage, it's along the left side of the property here. That's why we didn't place any plantings there because we didn't want them to get destroyed with snow storage. And then obviously the back rear lawn area, the snow could be plowed up there. And then we do have some snow storage area along the side of the laundromat.
Okay.
Does anybody have any other questions, comments?
Timing on this? What's your, ideal timing?
Probably right away. I'm assuming once we get approvals, we would start the construction drawings and try to get in the ground, obviously before it gets cold, I would assume.
Okay. So David, we would need a couple things for next month's meeting. If we were to put this on the agenda, we would need the comments from the 3 departments back. We would need at that time to put a motion before the town board and the county. It's likely the county will come back with, is it the low income housing requirements that we always evaluate?
Correct. Well, given the recent release of their countywide report, they're likely to make a comment that they want some percentage of the units dedicated affordable.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no obligation in the code, but they will make that recommendation. We dealt with it once in my time here. So that would, from a scheduling perspective, that if the planning board refers to the town board, that means you're looking at, where are we?
July.
Yeah, June, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Things go bing bang. You could get a June approval from the town board.
I have one question.
Go ahead.
I know we had to have stormwater on the previous approval for the office building. Has that impervious surfaces substantially changed from that original?
I don't know the exact calculations. Pete Sotero from CPL would have that information better than I, and he had a conflict this evening. We do have some stormwater management that we were putting underneath the pavement. And I believe the SWIP was not closed out yet. And I think they were going to make an amendment to that.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're on top of that as we move forward.
Yes,
I'm the one that would end up closing the SWIP, so yeah, I can tell you it hasn't been closed.
Okay.
So Rich, to meet your timeline, it looks like you've got some work to do, and the faster you do that work and get connected with the 3 departments, the quicker this moves along.
Yeah, I believe Gabby sent everything to them, and we just, I guess, need to follow up with them and see where they are and what we need to do. So we will get on that ASAP.
All right. Is there anything else from the board? Rich, anything from you?
Nope, nothing from me.
Okay, Warren?
Oh, I'm good.
And David, we're good? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, the next item is the Central Hudson Hurley Avenue Substation. This is site plan amendment.
Hi, yes, I'm Samantha Liverme with Chazen. I'm here with some folks from Central Hudson and Chazen to talk about this project.
How are you, Samantha?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
So this project was previously approved in 2019, so it may look familiar to some folks. I'm just going to share my screen so I can show you the site plan. So as I mentioned, this project has been previously approved in 2019. We had conditional approval and got a neg deck, but due to some changes with the smart pod technology, Central Hudson was unable to start construction within the time period. So we are now asking the board for a recommendation to the town board to initiate the seeker review. Just make this bigger.
Has anything substantially changed from the last approval? I'm just curious if this is an amendment to it or if this is a reapproval because it expired.
It's mostly because it expired. There's very minor changes, which I can go over. Do you want me to start from the beginning to discuss the entire project or just go over the changes?
For the benefit of the board, just a summary of the overall project and then the details of what has changed.
Okay, sure. So we have a 2.43 acre expansion to the south and the west sides of the existing substation. We're rerouting the 301 line and moving one structure in the 303 line very slightly. We're adding some access roads, which are in orange and gray here. We're also adding a bioretention area for stormwater management, which includes a plunge pool as pre-treatment, and we have some under drains in the expansion area, which goes to a swale, which then goes to the bio area. We have some impacts to wetlands. There are a few wetlands on site, but none are DEC wetlands. There's 1 and 2 wetlands that are fully being impacted, and then 1 that is partially being impacted, but all of the impacts are within or underneath 1/10 of an acre. So since the 2019 project, there's been no changes to the wetlands. The applicant is still seeking the nationwide permit from the Army Corps. There's also been no significant impacts to the threatened or endangered species. And coordination with the regulatory agencies will continue with the joint permit process. As far as changes from the last 2019 approval, there's changes in the smart pod technology, which really isn't anything major other than like some structures moving, which then impacted the under drain slightly moving. The 303 line pole also slightly moved. It's still being relocated just to a slightly different location. We also added temporary access here, which will allow for construction of this substation without having to go through the existing station. The access route that's on the north side of the parcel, Central Hudson has been coordinating with the county to make sure that it corresponds with the rail trail that's there. So that has already taken place, and the two projects are consistent with each other. And also the town board has now required a special permit for utility companies within a certain size in this district. So that has been submitted this go around. That's mostly all the changes. Like I said, it's really minor in comparison to the 2019 approval. Also, it should be noted that all the tree clearing has been completed since the approval. But that's pretty much it. Sorry if that was a little fast. If you have any questions, let me know.
Any questions from the board? So David, this goes to the town board for seeker then next, right?
And referral to the county.
Referral to the county. So I'll make the motion to send it to the town board and to county for evaluation.
I'll second that.
Gabby, can you call the roll, please?
Ms. Hayner,
Yes.
Mr. Almquist,
Yes.
Mr. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Stavropoulos,
Yes.
Chairman Ring.
Yes. All right, Samantha, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item of business is glide path and woven. It's a lot line adjustment. Is there someone from glide path here?
No, I'm Chris Zell from Bernier and Larios, and I'm representing Glide Path and Mr. Woven.
Great, Chris, thank you. Can you just give it just a description, and if you have a site plan or something to show?
I don't, unless Gabby can put it up, I don't have the ability to put it up on the screen for you, but.
All right, let me see if I can find it here. I just have your application. I don't actually have a drawing. Gabby, was one submitted?
sorry, I was looking around. One was submitted. I thought it was in the Dropbox. I didn't add it to my USB. I'm looking around now. Just give me a minute.
Okay. And while she's looking for that, can you just describe the project?
Yes, what it is it's a simple lot line revision between Mr. Woven and Glide Path. Glide Path currently has 109.5 acres of property, and they're going to convey 4.5 acres to Mr. Woven's property. They currently surround him. There is a garage that's encroaching over the rear line, and with this 4-acre transfer, that will clear up the encroachment. So Mr. Woven will go from 1.3 acres to 5.8 acres, and Glide Path's parcel will go from 109.58 to 105.077. So it's a pretty simple lot line revision.
I'm having a problem signing in. I'm still looking.
I don't see it in the Dropbox, Gabby.
Gabby, I have it, but I only got a paper copy and Chairman, I'll keep looking for one. I'm pretty sure I only have paper.
I apologize for not being able to put this up, but
I transferred everything today and I somehow must have missed the map.
Yeah, I think we need the map to see what we're approving or denying.
I don't know how I can get this up tonight for you.
And Gabby, you said you have it on a thumb drive?
If Chris needs time, Chairman, you could skip him and come back. We got,
Yeah, if you give me a minute, I'm gonna try to see if I can find it.
we got more agenda item in that discussion on the sign law.
Yeah, let's, Chris, if you don't mind, let's table this discussion. We'll go to the Bible Baptist Church, which is a minor subdivision, and we'll come back to you. Would that be
fine.
all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Good evening, board. This is Al Drakowski, pastor at Bible Baptist Church.
There we go, Al. I was looking for you. I couldn't find you.
It's okay.
How are you?
I fell asleep. No, I'm okay. You guys, we have a simple subdivision for Bible Baptist Church. We're located in zone R30 and we want to subdivide off of 4.064 acres, one parcel that is 1.003 acres. And that's pretty much our proposal. Oh, there's the map. I was worried. I thought I had to put that up there.
No, I've got it for you.
Okay.
And you're talking about this piece here.
Correct.
Yep. And this is going to, so this is the detail view. Here is the overall development.
Yes, sir.
And it's going to the owners of, if I recall, lot 10 here.
No, it's actually lot 9 there.
Lot 9. Okay, lot 9. So they're going to purchase this property.
Correct.
And their intention is not to add it to theirs, but possibly build a home or do something with it in the future.
They're not adding it to their property and they want to purchase it for a future investment, I guess, or
Yep.
building.
Okay. Then any questions for Mr. Jakowski from the board? I think, David, the next is to set a public hearing, is what we're doing tonight.
Correct, as a minor subdivision, the most you could do tonight is set a date for the single public hearing.
Yep, I'll make the motion to set the public hearing for next month on the minor subdivision.
I'll second the motion. Larry?
Gabby, can you call the roll?
Ms. Tanner,
Yes.
Mr. Almquist,
Yes.
Mr. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Stavropoulos,
Yes.
Chairman Ring.
Yes. All right, we'll see you next month, Mr. Chakowski.
Thank you, board members. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Enjoy the night.
Night.
Gabby,
Warren, Warren, are
we
you
vote?
in the office? Yeah, I'm looking and I can't access my email nor my Dropbox from this computer for some reason. So Warren, if you're in the office, can you get on my email? Because it's in my email and also attached to the file, if that's possible.
Yeah, I don't know how to get in your email. I got to get on your computer first.
Yeah, I'll send you the chat with the password. It should hopefully be open, but if not,
Before
type
we
it
do
in
that,
exactly.
hang on, before we share passwords and email accounts, I don't think we want to do that. David, you said you have a printout. Can you hold it up to the camera, see if we can see that?
Well, let me ask first, can you hear me? Gabby, did you put it in the current Dropbox? I have that open. I could try to.
It's not in the current Dropbox.
I thought I did, but if you guys aren't seeing it, I mean, give it a shot because I did update it quite a few times.
Well, let's see what happens. It's unfortunately a large paper, but if I get the right corner. Is that readable?
Okay, so Frank Satile Boulevard, the lower piece is the 4-acre property that wants to be the
is
lot
correct.
line adjustment.
Right, that is correct. And it surrounds the smaller piece, which is the 1-acre piece, which Mr. Woven currently owns. And we're proposing to take the property line, extend it out, and then over to Frank Satile Boulevard, making up the 4.5 acres.
Okay, so the lower left is the existing 1 acres, and then the L-shaped piece that remains is the 4 acres being added, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And that's taken from glide paths, 100 and whatever,
109 acres,
109.
yes.
Okay,
So that's basically what we're doing. And if you can see there, there's a small encroachment of a garage over the original property line. And that's going to be cleared up by this lot line. Right, correct. I see the finger up there. That's
Yep.
a little bit over.
a little bit higher and to the, yeah, there, right there. That's-
Couple
Yep.
sheds there and then a garage farther right.
Yep, I see it, right there.
Right there, yeah, and that's the purpose of the lot line revision, is to clear up the encroachment. And
The encroachment looks small. I'm just curious about the amount of the 4 acres being added. That seems like a lot for just a small encroachment.
well,
So I'm
what it
just-
was is originally they were negotiating a smaller lot line revision just to clear this up, and as things went along, Mr. Woven was interested in acquiring more property. So they finally agreed to this 4.5 acres, squaring everything off. And you know, taking the total out to the 4.5 acres, which would now give him actually 5.
So it gives him a buffer from any future development on the,
It does, and it gives him room to expand if he needs to.
yep. All right. Any questions from the board?
Simple enough.
Yep.
David, you prepared a resolution on this?
Correct. In summary again, Chairman?
Yes, please.
Okay, so whereas the applicant's glide path, AKA Lincoln Park Grid Support Center, also known as Lincoln Park DG Real Estate LLC, and Daniel Woven, are seeking a lot line adjustment. They propose to convey 4.503 acres from Lincoln Park to Daniel Woven. The lots comply with the minimum lot size in the zoning district. It's classified as a lot line adjustment, which is subject to approval by just the planning board. The materials are a complete application. A referral to the county planning board is not required, as the actions involves less than 5 lots and does not meet certain other conditions. Whereas the planning boards consider the application materials and comments provided. It's a lot line adjustment and therefore no public hearing is required. It is classified as a lot line adjustment as a type 2 action under seeker. So no further actions required under seeker. Therefore, the planning board has determined that it's fully compliant with seeker, and further resolve, the planning board hereby grants lot line adjustment approval as described above, subject to a filing with the county clerk and signed by the chairman. No changes, erasures, etc. shall be made to any plat after approval by the planning board. Final plat must be filed in the county with the county clerk within 62 days of approval. All fees, including consultant fees, must be paid.
All right, is there a motion from the board?
Almquist here, I'll make a motion.
I'll second, it's Andrew.
Gabby, can you call the roll?
Ms. Hayner,
Yes.
Mr. Almquist,
Yes.
Mr. Decker,
Yes.
Mr. Stavropoulos,
Yes.
Chairman Ring.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I apologize for not being able to get the drawing up, and I'll make sure next time I do have the ability to do that.
We're all
Yes,
getting
thank you,
used
Dave.
to, we're all getting used to the remote nature of this, so it's all right.
Well, I do apologize, and you're right, I do have to get a little better.
That's okay. All right.
Right.
Thank you.
Good night.
The last item for tonight is discussion on a proposed digital sign law. Frank, I know you and I spoke about this when I was the chairman of the zoning board a few years ago. The background of this is that the zoning board had an increase in the number of variance requests for digital signs across the town. I arranged a show and tell with a sign manufacturer to come to the town hall. They put on a presentation of how digital signs work, how they're measured, what the lumens are. We then had a demonstration of an actual sign that we could change the visibility, the brightness on. We looked at it when we started the meeting, it was sunny. And when we concluded the meeting, it was getting into sunset. So we were able to view it in bright sunlight and in lower level light. It was not night, but it was lower level conditions. I believe that I know the supervisor was there, and there were some other folks from the various boards that attended that presentation. Jason worked with the zoning board along with, we gave this proposed law to some representative from one of the local sign companies. And we received some comments, and what you see in the Dropbox is the final version with all the comments included on the sign law. So that's the status of it. The new zoning chairman had asked me what I thought about getting this completed, and I thought that it barring any issues in language, we should move this forward to the town board for approving the law process.
First thing I see, there may be no more than one program digital sign. better specify if it's one-sided or two-sided.
Okay. So
Section
what you're
11.
saying is a single sign that's double-sided considered two signs? You want to avoid that?
I just want some clarification. I think we should have some clarification.
Warren, if there's a sign, non-digital sign that a business puts up, if it's two-sided, do we consider it one sign?
Two signs.
We consider that two signs.
Consider that two signs. Each, when we're issuing sign permits, like on a monument, each side is considered a sign when we're doing fees.
Each side of a monument sign is is a separate sign.
It's a sign, yes.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know
we
that.
measure the square footage per side of the sign. So if it's double-sided, it doubles the square footage of the single side.
Wow, I wouldn't have thought that. That's
I did not know that.
I mean, the base fee, if it's a monument, I usually do the base fee, which for one sign, I'll do the base fee and the closing fee as one. But the square footage, we have to double because it's double-sided.
So it's one sign, but you add the square footage for both sides.
Correct.
Okay.
That's fee-wise, at least that's the way I look at it.
I just didn't know if we were gonna classify Meineke, Stage 1, they all have a digital on both sides. Is that one sign?
why would we treat a digital sign any different than a regular sign?
I don't have a problem. I just want to know that moving forward, when they come in, you can have one digital sign, which way you're gonna have it face.
I
Follow
would
me on that?
consider the Meineke sign to be one sign.
Even though it's two-sided.
Yes.
I just need to know how I'm enforcing this going forward. That's all I'm asking.
No, that's fair. I mean, Jeffrey, do you agree that that's one sign, that's two-sided?
I do agree, but here's my issue. I think we have two issues here. One is, in my opinion, the digital sign should be the same as a freestanding, regular sign. And so the second issue then is, should we go back and reclassify signs two-sided, one-sided? I think the issue should apply the same to digital as it does to regular signs. So I think we have two issues, and the digital sign law, is this the time to change that? I don't know the answer to that, but I would have thought that the Meineke sign is one sign.
Okay, so let me clarify then. When we were doing the fee schedule, when a new sign is installed, we do the square footage of the sign. It's when a sign gets refaced that we're looking at both sides as each one being a sign at that point. Or Gabby, have we done? What was the last monument we did?
Full monument or replacement monument panels?
Full monument, let's say Hyundai.
Oh, gosh, I think it was the same. It was the base fee, closing fee for one sign, but again, square footage is doubled because it's double-sided.
Okay.
If I'm not, to be 100%, because it was a while ago, I'd have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's the way we did it.
That's how we've been doing it. Well, we
Yeah.
can do the same thing with a digital sign, but they're going to be digital monument signs if they're in the corridor. We're not going to go to a post sign, which is what Meineke has.
Isn't Hyundai talking about a digital sign for their monument?
Nothing's come across my desk.
I don't think it was on paper yet, but I remember when we had that meeting at their property. I talked to one of the gentlemen there, and he was talking about a monument digital sign.
Well, they've got the monument. They replaced their monument, but there's nothing come to me about adding digital to it.
Okay.
My only concern with digital signs is they can be very distracting for the driver. So they should be limited to how fast and how big they are. That's my only opinion with that. Otherwise, I have no objection to it.
Well, the
In the
numbers-
law, Anna, there is provisions for the amount of time that something needs to be displayed before it turns to something else. Like,
Right.
yep, so that is included. Are you comfortable with that wording, or do you think there should be something more?
It's hard to say because I feel like some of the digital signs we have all of a sudden have gotten very fast. And I thought we had that in the provisions already.
Well, everything has been, because there is no digital sign law, everything has been done on a case-by-case basis. And I don't recall if we've gone through all the detail of how fast things can scroll. And it hasn't been uniform in the way
Gotcha.
the zoning board has approved these things.
Gotcha.
A good example of a more recent digital sign is the one at the bowling alley on East Chester Bypass.
Yep. Okay.
The Meineke is not a good example because that's been out of compliance in terms of brightness and other things. That's not a good example.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen the Meineke sign. I don't go that way, so I don't know.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
It's very bright.
And I trust you on that because I also think the Brickyard is still too bright with their light, their spotlight that shines onto the road.
They have taken that out.
I haven't gone that way in a while to even notice, but thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
I
something
leave-
different
well,
up there. I noticed that the other day.
In
Awesome.
the winter, I used to see it, but now it's light when I leave work at 9 o'clock at night, so they don't need the light anymore.
One of the things that we found in the presentation that I found was very interesting was that it actually turns out that during the day, the brighter the sign, the easier and quicker it is to read.
Right.
So
Yep.
that was very interesting. The Meineke sign isn't switching to night mode. That's the issue with the Meineke side. And
Do you
Warren, you've
think
been
it's
out.
because it's outdated and it can't do that? Doesn't have the technology for that?
No, it's the owner.
Thanks for being blunt. I appreciate that. I don't know.
We do have in the, I noticed in here that we do have a retroactive clause about being able to, if it can be changed, it will be changed.
Yep.
As long as it doesn't have to be replaced. And before you ask how I'm going to enforce that, you're going to have to you're going to have your sign manufacturer show me that it can't be done.
Okay.
Not the owner. You know, the sign installer manufacturer will have to send me a letter certifying that this sign predates this technology.
Right.
The biggest issue, Warren, that you're gonna have is how fast things are scrolling
Mm-hmm.
and the brightness at night.
Mm-hmm.
The limitation on brightness during the day is as bright as the signs can actually go. There's like 10,000 nits, if I recall off the top of my head.
10,000 nits during the day, 750 nits at night.
Yep. And I don't think that we have the tools to measure the nits, do we?
Well, here's the thing. I measured from the sign face. They have somewhere in here how to do it.
Right, but I didn't think we had the equipment, and the equipment was very expensive.
Yeah,
If
I
you were
recall
measuring it in nits-
that conversation.
If you're measuring in nits, according to our town code here, a foot candle meter. So that's a basic light meter, which is what I use to measure all the parking lot lights in the town for the dealerships during the middle of winter. We can further come around this. I don't think the town's going to go to getting a nit meter.
No, it was
Yes,
something like $50,000 or some crazy amount, if I recall.
Oh, it's upwards of 5 at least.
Yeah.
And we'll have to figure some way. Or we have it certified by the sign manufacturer.
Yep.
Yeah, use your meter and have their nit meter at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
and just get a scaling.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
if they,
it-
yeah, they
it
come
would-
in with a number, I come in with a number.
Where the issue would come would be signs like Meineke that get changed back to being bright at night, and how would we go back and measure that? But you know, we have that problem today, we'll have that problem tomorrow. So the law doesn't, the law establishes the minimum and maximums. How we enforce it, that's a different, discussion, in that we have the same problem today or tomorrow that we have today.
The only thing I might add to this is that a clause that if we have a repeat offender, then the sign gets removed. If
Why
we-
would you go through the normal process of that we use on all other compliance issues? Because if it's a traffic safety, then you could do some emergency action, can't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to read through to see where I can come back to that. I don't have to worry about that right now.
Certainly the standard building code enforcement rules that we have, we can take the owner to town court, issue an order to remedy. All those would apply in the digital sign case, just as it would in any other case.
Okay.
Now, Jason, in my experience, some of those things are lengthy and hard to enforce. Warren needs to have a tool to, if it becomes a problem for traffic, he needs to have a tool that he can address within a day or a couple days, not years, like some of these taking to court things.
Right,
I
or
understand that.
immediately.
Yeah, I can review the law again and see what other towns are doing in regard to that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to, this isn't the end of the discussion. I just want to bring this back before the board. Why don't we, Jason, you've got some things to look at. Warren, you've got some things to look at. We may also need some time to read it in more detail, and we'll put it on for a further discussion next month. How does that sound?
I agree with that.
Okay, perfect. Are there any other topics of discussion or things that people want to bring up?
Yes. The 30-minute work that had to go down with the church for today. It was a little bit crowded with time.
I agree, Frank.
I'm
I was
sorry, I
at
missed-
work all day. With the church, it was a little difficult to catch up at the very end of the day with the
Oh,
information.
the material for the church didn't come through till today.
Correct, yeah. It's a lot because we already had a very large agenda, and to have something else to deal with when we're trying to read through all the other material, especially for me, I work full-time. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I run a household. I have two full-time jobs. So to then have to do this, which should only be, maybe a day, like 8 hours a month, I don't have time to add something at the very last minute. It's very difficult. It really is, at least
It
for
is.
me.
Yep, I think we agreed on the agenda. The material need to be by Friday before the meeting.
I think it even has to be further than that. I mean,
I think we need to make a hard and fast rule that if the application is not fully submitted a week before the meeting, it won't be on the agenda for that month. It will go the next month. David needs time to review,
Yep.
prepare his notes, and then Gabby needs time to distribute to all of you. This is not a pressing matter that needs to be on the agenda this month. That's my suggestion.
because the Friday before, I don't want to spend my weekend reading any paperwork. I'm not gonna lie. That's my time.
Well, town code says 2 weeks before the meeting, which is what I've been holding steadfastly to. That gives us time to compile it and get it to Dave, so he has at least a week to review. Even a week before making it the submittal deadline still puts us in a crunch to get it out to all the concerned parties with enough ample time.
And that's why we don't get and we don't get response from the water department, the highway department, the sewer department. That's, yeah.
That's why I went to the 2 weeks. And lately, everybody's been, they've been doing it. So this was just a last minute one, which we tested and we realized it still doesn't work. So we will hold to the 2 weeks.
We had one
Everything
last
else-
month.
Last month, I think everything was out. ahead
It
of
was the
time.
month prior, and
It was the month
Oh, you're
prior.
right. It was the month prior. You're right. You're right.
So last month.
Listen, at this point, it's all the same month.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I understand. Completely.
All right, that's fair. Fair. All right, do we have a motion to end the meeting?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
All right, we'll see you next month. Thank you.
You guys have a good
Good
night.
night.
All right.
Good night, everybody.